Alrighty, now the project at hand is getting this ham rig installed in this Chevy Traverse, which the common problem with most cars these days is there's just no way to do anything anymore. They have to put in all this crap, so you pretty much have the dashboard hang it from the overhead, or you got to stick it over here on the side. Unless you have a radio that has a separate remote head, you can bury the radio under the seat and then put the head in a cup mount or put it on a arm that extends up around so you can actually see the damn thing. So I guess for this radio we're just gonna have to strap it onto the side of the console here. I didn't want this car, and for the record I said don't get this thing, but it came home anyway. So that's what we have to work with. Alright, the antenna is mounted. It's a mag mount with a compact antenna, they call it. Works pretty good on VHF. SWR is a bit high on the UHF, just because of the ground plane. But don't use UHF too much here. So coax is running in and through the door. It's not my preferred method of doing things, but with all the sunroofs in this thing, it's the easiest option. So the coax has to go in and run down the B post. It's going to pop out underneath the carpet here somewhere and then go over to the bracket. Alright, so we've got it fished in behind the door seal. It's coming down in behind the B post. Watch out for airbags, don't want to interfere with those. There's the coax right there. It's coming out and popping out right here. So now it's going to snap all this back together. I'll loosen this up so it has some room to work and be able to get the connector out through right there. So brought the coax forward, popped off this plastic panel here, which I was able to do with my fingers. So now I can lift up that carpet pretty easy and poke that cable right underneath it, get it over there and bring it up at the bracket. Here's what our SWRs are looking like on the compact antenna. So at the top of 2 meters we got 1.3 down across the band. All the way at the bottom. Very acceptable. Real good. Let's go up and look at 440. Alright, up in 440. The lower we get in the band, the better we are. Up where repeaters are in this area, the higher the SWR is getting. Let's swap around the simplex area. 446, we're at 2.3. It's acceptable, but it's not great. Get up in the top of the band. So any 444 dot whatever repeaters which have a positive offset are going to go up to 449 when the radio transmits. So we've got a 2.5 SWR. If I pick the antenna up off the roof a little bit, that SWR tanks right down to like 1.3. These antennas need a steep ground plane. I've tried moving it to the side of the vehicle, the corner of the vehicle. It doesn't really affect it too much. Stays right about here. It'll work, but it's not the greatest. But where I live, everything's on VHF for the most part, so it's not a big concern. Alright, the radio is in. It turns on. I hate having to look at things sideways in a vehicle, but it is what it is. So here's what we come up with. A little bit of wire showing, but no big deal. Rolled the seat too far back now, but it's hooked up to the battery. The extra wire is just stuffed down in behind the battery there. So now I just put everything back together and call it job done.